The entrepreneurs that pay $5K and more for their brand photos want something completely different than what most photographers are delivering. In the next few minutes, I'm breaking down 5 trends that separate high-end brand photographers from everyone else, plus the one mistake that might be making you look amateur. Let's dive in. The first trend is using creative motifs. The photographers booking 5K shoots stopped using obvious props a long time ago. The brand photos that you take for an entrepreneur don't need to literally describe what they do anymore. For example, if you're working with a financial coach, you don't have to have them fanning money. Of course, it's fun. You absolutely can if you want to and if they want to, but I'm gonna challenge you to think outside of the box. If you think about how these images are used, they're hardly ever used by themselves as a standalone photo. There's always added context when these photos are being used, like captions on Instagram posts or copy on the website. There's never just a photo of the business owner. The photos are part of a larger campaign, so you don't need to be so literal with everything. I'll give you an example that I used to do all the time. I've worked with several brand designers and graphic designers, and a really popular shot, if you go on Pinterest and search brand photos for a website designer, is them taping a mood board to a wall. Don't get me wrong, this is a nice standard shot for a website designer, but a question that I like to ask myself if I'm stuck at the surface level is, what is one level deeper? Instead of pinning a mood board, what if we could go to the actual source of their inspiration? Where does this brand designer get their inspiration? Is it in nature? Is it in cities? That's what I mean by one level deeper. So yes, literally they might be putting a mood board together when they work with their clients, but where do they actually get inspired? Laptop and coffee mug shots are dead. Stop using them. I'm just kidding. Sometimes they might be useful. If your client wants it, do it. But as the creative director, as the brand photographer, think one level deeper and explain to them, if everybody's getting brand photos with a laptop and a coffee mug, how are they going to stand out amongst a sea of other laptop and coffee mug photos? We want to be different. So the next time you're planning a brand photo shoot, don't just ask them, oh, what do you use in your day-to-day life? Ask them where they get inspired. Where do you get your best ideas? What do they want their clients to feel when they're working with them? The next trend is UGC, which stands for user-generated content. Most photographers are still delivering galleries like this, but clients paying premium rates want this. User-generated content is used by a lot of bloggers and influencers. It's that style that is like very spur of the moment, authentic. Maybe you snapped it with your phone. I'm not saying you need to take these photos with your phone, but how can you incorporate these compositions and this style into your brand photography gallery? Dupe is becoming a really popular user-generated content stock photography website, and I like to go there for inspiration. If you go look at what's performing well on Instagram, speaking from my own personal experience, photos that I take with my iPhone and I put text over it and turn it into a carousel, those are actually performing really well for me right now. So how can you incorporate this style of content into your professional brand photography galleries? Since you're already on set with the client, I would recommend catching some photos with an iPhone so they have content ready to go that day that they can start using. It's really low lift for you, but high impact for the client. And I know as a professional photographer, sometimes we might be like, oh, I can't use an iPhone, I'm a professional. That's okay. You're not just a professional photographer, you need to be a professional marketer for your client. And if iPhone photos are what's working, get some iPhone photos. Where most photographers mess up when it comes to brand photography is they're only delivering a gallery of portraits. Your clients need a complete content ecosystem, not just pretty lifestyle headshots. Yes, the fancy polished headshots are important, but just as important are the behind the scenes moments that you can capture the day of the shoot. What I like to do is for every outfit and scene with the client, before you switch to the next one, capture a couple of quick behind the scenes photos with their phone, take a couple of B-roll videos in addition to the professional photos that you're taking. I promise your client is probably going to use the UGC styled photos way more than their headshots. And it's not because the headshots aren't important, it's because the casual photos are just doing better right now. The next trend is elevated wardrobe styling. Most photographers force their clients to make too many decisions when it comes to wardrobe. And when you do that, what happens is the client gets overwhelmed. Because they're overwhelmed, they're like, oh, I'm just gonna put together 2 outfits. And if you show up to a brand photo shoot with only 2 outfits, that's not enough content. So what you should do instead as the brand photographer, as the creative director, is take creative control. Tell your clients how many outfits they should bring. I know this sounds crazy, but my rule of thumb is usually 3 to 4 outfits per hour of shooting. It's totally fine if they bring too many, but I always say I would rather them have too many than not enough. Based on the creative direction of the rest of the shoot, provide really specific guidelines to your clients. If you want a client that's gonna spend thousands of dollars on photos, the styling needs to match that investment level. We have a couple of options on how to do this. Option 1, if you feel comfortable with it, you could provide that wardrobe styling advice. I recommend getting really specific and even pulling photos or links to send to the client. If you're like, Emily, I don't know anything about wardrobe styling, that's okay, because there are professional wardrobe stylists that will do this for you. I love working with wardrobe stylists. After I've gone through my planning process with my client, I will bring on the wardrobe stylist, go over the shoot plan, and the wardrobe stylist will then go and pick the outfits, and it's great and amazing and so much better than what I could have come up with on my own. Whatever you decide to do here, just remember that the value is taking the wardrobe decision off the client's plate. To be booking these high-end clients, we want to make their lives as easy as possible. That's why they're hiring you. It's not just for the photos, it's for the full experience. So make it as easy as possible for them. The next trend is incorporating movement. Most photographers are only delivering still images, but clients paying premium rates, they expect some kind of movement, whether it's video clips, GIFs, stop motion, even just behind the scenes footage from your phone. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and buy all this professional video equipment, but I'm going to challenge you for your next shoot, add in some kind of movement. Maybe you put your camera on a tripod and do a fun GIF, or you just whip out your phone and record some behind the scenes footage. I used to only offer video as an add-on, so it wasn't included in my base packages, but now when my clients book sessions with me, I don't offer photo only. Everything includes video. If the client is going to come all the way out, they're going to get hair and makeup done, I'm going to rent a studio, they're going to get their wardrobe styled, they might as well get video too. They're really saving money in the long run, because once they get their photos back, they're going to realize, oh man, I really wish I had a video for this. Get it for them on shoot day. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be this whole cinematic movie production. Just think of what's the easiest video content that I could create for my client at my next shoot and do that. The fifth trend is building a personal brand. Most photographers like to hide behind their work. On Instagram, they only post portfolio work and never post photos of themselves. Or if they post photos of themselves, it's them hiding behind their camera and you can't really see their face. But the photographers booking premium clients are setting the example. They're posting brand photos of themselves. They're showing up with their face on camera. It's gonna be hard to expect clients to pay you $5,000 for a brand photo shoot when your own personal brand feels like an afterthought. I've talked about this before, but thinking that your portfolio speaks for itself is outdated because it doesn't anymore. And I know you hate to hear it, but it's true. Your ideal client wants to hire a person, not a camera. I know that we get so upset when people say, oh, your camera takes such good pictures. Well, yeah, they think it's just a camera because you're not showing up. They don't know who you are. They only think of the camera. Running and marketing a photography business looks so much different than it did even just 5 years ago. Your strongest differentiator is your personal brand. If a potential client is looking at two different photographers with similar pricing and similar portfolios, the one with the stronger brand is going to win that client. I'm not saying you have to go post selfies every day and share every single aspect of your life, but I am talking about having a clear visual identity, having consistent messaging, which means saying the same thing over and over again, and showing up like the expert, taking people behind the scenes, showing people your process. You should be using your personal brand to build trust so that they know that, yes, I'm gonna give you $5,000 for my brand photos and I'm gonna get the results that I need. These premium clients, they're successful entrepreneurs who understand the power of branding. That's why they want to book brand photos. So if you aren't taking your own personal brand seriously, why would they trust you with theirs? Building a personal brand allows you to stop competing on price because you become the obvious choice for your potential clients. Clients go from looking at a sea of other photographers and just picking a random one to saying, oh, I like you, I trust you in your process, I want to work with you. And here's the biggest mistake that I see among people that offer brand photography. They're still thinking like portrait photographers when your client wants a marketing strategist. That's what all of these trends really come down to. Your clients aren't just buying perfect headshots anymore. They want somebody who understands their marketing needs and speaks their language. They want someone who thinks beyond the generic laptop and coffee mug shots, someone who can guide their styling decisions, someone who delivers movement and stills, and someone who gets that these photos and videos are marketing assets that need to work across every platform they use. When you position yourself as a marketing strategist and not just a photographer, everything changes: your rates, your portfolio, and how in demand you are. This shift in thinking is what separates photographers that charge hundreds of dollars to photographers that charge thousands of dollars. Now, out of all of these trends, I want to know, which are you going to incorporate with your next client? And if you want me to make a video diving into any one of these, let me know in the comments. If you know that last trend, personal branding, is what's holding you back, I have a full video breaking down my process on building a personal brand. This is how I personally went from competing on price to becoming the obvious choice for my clients, and I'll see you there.